Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating and air, restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Dozens more migrants were dropped off today at the Oceanside Transit Center. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Local leaders are calling it a symptom of a broken immigration system. KPBS North County reporter Tanya Thorne tells us this isn't the first time.
Last Christmas Eve, migrants were dropped off at the Rancho Del Oro Sprinter station in the middle of the night. The station has no direct connection to the airport, and resources were limited. This time around, city officials got a heads up about the arrivals.
Even if it's an hour or two in advance, it gives us the chance to pivot resources to make sure that we're there and available and on time to get them back to their families.
Salvador Roman with the city of Oceanside said the tip from Customs and Border Protection made all the difference in organizing basic resources.
Most of them don't have any idea where they were dropped off, and they weren't dropped off with any items other than their documentation. So they hadn't showered in days. We were here just to provide the essentials.
Local nonprofit organizations set out food and water, clothes, and power to charge their phones. Volunteers were also helping them coordinate travel arrangements to their sponsors.
Really basic necessities. We're helping them contact their sponsors and working through the logistics of booking a plane ticket or arranging transportation to the airport or putting them up for a night if their flight isn't till tomorrow, getting something warm in their stomachs. You know, these people have had a pretty rough journey.
Janet Reeves is with Interfaith Community Services. She says most sponsors are quick to book plane tickets, but some can't afford it, leaving organizations looking for ways to cover the cost. And that's an example of the lack of resources local leaders expressed concern over. In statements, North County Congressman Mike Levin and San Diego County Supervisor Jim Desmond called out the federal government for the lack of resources provided that had to be picked up by the San Diego community. Desmond said he learned over 500 migrants were dropped at transit stations across San Diego County, but CBP is not confirming any numbers. The agency said the drop-offs are a standard process to quickly decompress the areas along the southwest border. Tanya Thorne, KPBS News.
And this afternoon, someone trying to climb over the border fence fell and lost her life, and that is according to San Diego police. First responders got a call just after 2:30 today. There are a few details on the circumstances behind the incident, and this happened in an area near the 905 in Otay Mesa, and that is not the same location where migrants were being held in a makeshift camp this week by federal agents as they wait to be allowed to enter the U.S. One reason why so many people from around the world are desperate to enter the United States is political freedom. But as the world marks Democracy Day, the United States system of representative government is under attack. KPBS's Amita Sharma explores how pillars of democracy are holding up in San Diego County.
33 months after the January 6th assault on the Capitol, nearly 70% of Republicans nationwide still believe the 2020 presidential election was stolen. In the last 10 years, more than 29 states have passed legislation making it tougher to vote. Censorship is on the rise, and a growing number of Americans from both parties believe political violence is justified. How much of this sentiment has seeped into the San Diego region post-January 6th? San Diego Mesa College political science professor Carl Luna says somewhat, with potential for more.
Politics is local, but it's also national. And if any part of that tree of liberty is being poisoned, it's eventually going to spread out to the rest of the tree.
KPBS set out to assess the health of democracy in San Diego through a handful of key indicators: threats to elected representatives, voting, censorship, and local news coverage. A recent University of San Diego poll found 66% of local elected officials reported threats have increased since taking office. Chula Vista Elementary School Board trustee Kate Bishop says sexually violent threats spike against her when she pushes for inclusivity.
The ones that are more ominous and threatening are 100% from men, usually conservative men that identify themselves as such.
Overall, access to voting in San Diego County is strong. California largely prevents gerrymandering by having an independent commission determine political districts, and the state does not have the harsh voter ID laws and limits on polling places that restrict voting in some other states. The censorship situation is a bit more cloudy. There have been isolated attempts to ban books on LGBTQ topics in Oceanside schools and county and city of San Diego public libraries. Misty Jones, director of the city library system, says she's up for the fight.
I feel like libraries are kind of the last stand for democracy, right? They are the location that anyone can come, regardless of your circumstances, your background, your beliefs, whatever. Everyone can come and find something at the library. And that's what we stand for. We stand for freedom of access to information.
However, on another key measure of information access, San Diego County is faltering. Its major daily newspaper, the San Diego Union-Tribune, has gone from employing 400 people in the newsroom in the 1990s to just over 100 today. Local television news stations have also faced significant cuts in recent decades. Northwestern University journalism professor Penny Abernathy says those journalists covered major beats like education, City Hall, and wrote investigative pieces, all hallmarks of local news.
It is the glue that binds a community together and let me say by that, binds our society together. And by the same time, it serves this country and this democracy by giving us the information that we need at the grassroots level to make decisions about who to vote for, even where we should shop to get the best bargains. So when we've lost that, there is a great void into which you can misinformation, disinformation can also flourish.
And it has, through highly partisan news outlets and social media. This fragmented news world is a far cry from an era when Americans learned a uniform set of facts from a few media gatekeepers like major newspapers and the big three television networks. UCSD political science professor Barbara Walter says today's ecosystem allows people with ideas and attitudes that were historically on the fringe to enter the mainstream.
They can find each other really easily. They can chat with each other really easily. They can be fed information from Putin or from the, from the Proud Boys or from any number of organizations whose goal is to actually radicalize these individuals even further. All of that is really, really easy. There's no regulation. And of course, the algorithms then just accelerate that.
But on this Democracy Day, local political scientist Luna sees silver linings. Americans still prefer democracy.
Another nice positive thing, it hasn't gotten violent yet.
Amita Sharma, KPBS News.
KPBS is covering International Day of Democracy on all of our platforms. Find more at kpbs.org and at the United Nations website, un.org. A new investigation will be done to find out what happened during the 2021 withdrawal from Afghanistan. The Pentagon is planning to interview nearly 24 service members who were in Kabul during an explosion at the airport. The blast killed dozens of people, including Marines, who were based at Camp Pendleton. President Joe Biden has been widely criticized for the chaotic final days of America's withdrawal from the 20-year war. 55 years ago, the crew of a U.S. Navy spy ship was captured off the coast of North Korea. The crew was tortured for months before the U.S. arranged their release, and now survivors are demanding that Congress make good on promises to compensate victims of terrorism. KPBS military reporter Andrew Dyer has this report from what could be that crew's final annual reunion.
On Christmas Eve in 1968, 83 crewmen of the USS Pueblo landed in San Diego after months of captivity in North Korea. Surviving crew members gathered for a reunion in San Diego recently. James Kell of Chula Vista was a Navy chief in 1968 on the Pueblo, in charge of special operations. He says surviving the nearly year-long captivity in North Korea came down to three things:
faith in God, and my country, and my Navy. And I knew those three things, if I had those, I was going to be okay. And I was determined that they could take my body, which they had full control over. They were never going to get my mind. And I think it worked out okay. I don't know. That's for other people to judge.
Pueblo crew members are among a cadre of victims of state-sponsored terrorism who qualify for compensation under a victims fund established by Congress in 2015. Others include survivors and families of those killed in the Iran hostage crisis, the 1983 U.S. Embassy bombing in Beirut, the 1996 Khobar Towers bombing, and the 9/11 attacks.
So with this coalition that we have here today, it provides them a voice. I'm a voice for them. I'm a voice for those that don't know about the fund, that can enter into the fund. So that's what I'm here for.
Retired Air Force Master Sergeant Chris Nagel says that with the Victims Fund being depleted, people who qualify for payments are only receiving a fraction of what they're owed.
They promised that they would take care of us, and we have not been taken care of.
The Pueblo crew members are planning a screening of a new documentary about their ordeal Saturday at the Hadlery Hotel in Mission Valley. The USS Pueblo is on display in Pyongyang, North Korea, and remains the only U.S. Navy vessel in captivity. Andrew Dyer, KPBS News.
I'm Jeff Bennett. Tonight on the NewsHour, auto workers go on strike, threatening to rattle the U.S. car industry. Coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
Healthcare workers with Planned Parenthood of the Pacific Southwest voted this week to unionize. KPBS reporter Melissa May has the story.
So the number of patients that we have are increasing.
Libby Kujak has been a certified physician associate at Planned Parenthood of the Pacific Southwest for the last 2.5 years. She says an influx of patients coming from out of state for care following the overturning of Roe v. Wade has affected the quality of care the staff is able to provide.
And we can't provide care in a way that's consistent with the agency's mission and values if we're not taking care of our own people in a way that's consistent with those mission and values.
She's one of 350 Planned Parenthood of Pacific Southwest healthcare workers in San Diego County who voted in support of joining SEIU United Healthcare Workers West.
For workers who go from seeing 16 patients a day to 30 patients a day, they need a voice. They need to be able to have a direct conversation with Planned Parenthood administration to talk about how they can continue to provide care for their patients, do it in the most compassionate way, and be a sanction for women who can't seek care in other states now.
Kujak says the staff provides a lot of feedback for improvements and changes, so the staff is being listened to, but not heard, and describes one of the main reasons for unionizing.
Despite all of these suggestions for improvements, it's like blinders and earmuffs from upper management that they don't hear anything we're saying, or it's not in alignment with their business models.
Planned Parenthood of the Pacific Southwest declined to be interviewed. In an email, they said, "We look forward to continuing to work together with our staff and now SEIU UHW to ensure Planned Parenthood of the Pacific Southwest is a compassionate and affirming place to give and get care." Research published last year from Harvard and the University of Washington about healthcare workers unionizing found joining a union was tied to higher earnings and better benefits, but it also is associated with more hours of work. Melissa May, KPBS News.
Hundreds of San Diego high school students took part in today's Global Day of Climate Strikes. KPBS environment reporter Eric Anderson shows us the scene in Tierra Santa.
A crowd of Patrick Henry High School students walked out of class and rallied at the amphitheater on the western edge of campus. The students ditched their fourth period class with administration approval.
We all had the ability to walk out of our fourth periods, come here, advocate for climate action, and be able to use our able-bodiedness to speak up for what we believe in.
Fernandez says there are plenty of signs the climate is changing.
Every year it gets warmer. Every year we have more natural disasters, and I think now people are starting to finally grasp the idea that climate change is real.
Fernandez worries the world will become unlivable.
What do we want? Climate action! When do we want it? Now!
Climate action events were held at about a dozen local schools, but organizers say student voices will have a much larger reach.
It's all about creating community. So while we have that locally here in San Diego, it's also about making an effort other places in the U.S., other places around the world. This is a human species issue, so we need to work together on these things.
The global day of protests, including the action at Patrick Henry High School, are aimed at raising awareness and calling for an end of the fossil fuel economy. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
From protests to the celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, which began today, the San Diego Unified School District honored the Latinx community by flying a first-of-its-kind flag over the administration building. KPBS education reporter MG Perez was there.
It's the sound of music that is magnificently mariachi, an essential part of celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. These students come from across the San Diego Unified School District, representing many campuses and the culture they are so proud of. They are well aware of their challenging history, too.
They may have tried to erase our culture. They may have tried to erase our traditions and our language. They tried to bury our cultura, our gente, and our voices. But we are a pride-filled and resilient community. We push through.
Some of these students are first-generation members of their family to attend school with the hope of going on to higher education. 12-year-old Dylan Valdivia Castillo is thankful to his Mexican immigrant parents.
They wanted to give us a childhood and an education, something that they never had.
The community spirit and pride are clearly shown on this new Latinx flag, created and supported by the district's administration and a team of educators who designed it. The flag will fly for the next month, just below the American and California flags, here at the Brucker Education Center in University Heights. By design, there are many cultures and countries represented, labeled with the Spanish word orgullo, which means pride.
We wanted to find an image that represents kind of all of that, and there's not necessarily like a Latinx flag, so we just kind of wanted to come up with something that represents lots of different countries, so we figured just actually getting the images of the flags like in a hand just to show unity.
This is the first time this unique symbol is flying up the flagpole here, with the intention of making this an annual event. So why does Hispanic Heritage Month extend from September 15th to October 15th? That is an acknowledgement of several Latin American countries that won their independence over the 2-month period.
My name is Michael Luciano Oselo Bernal.
The students will continue to be living symbols of their culture and the diversity it brings to the district.
When we think of diversity, we think of the personal characteristics that make us who we are, the characteristics that our parents and grandparents taught us.
That's a message put to music that will play on. MG Perez, KPBS News.
Well, let's start you off with your weather headlines, what you need to know heading into the weekend. Inland areas slowly warm through Saturday, so temperatures are still on the rise just slightly as we head into the beginning of the weekend, though by next week, and by next week I mean by Sunday, that cooling trend is going to start. Low clouds and fog are also going to start to spread into areas further inland next week as well, as we are dealing with some instability along the west coast. Now tonight we're dropping down to a low of 68, increasing cloud cover, and around the rest of the region we'll see some clouds as well, areas like Oceanside down to Chula Vista. And then as we move a little bit further inland, well, lows are going to be dropping down to the 70s in Borrego Springs, in the 50s in Mount Laguna. So a little bit of a chilly night, and as we head into tomorrow, well, we're still running a few degrees below those historical averages in areas like San Diego, but still not too bad. Areas a little bit further east, well, Ramona with a high of 81, Borrego Springs 96, and Mount Laguna 64. So overall, not doing too shabby as we head into tomorrow. But again, along the coast, temperatures are going to be staying relatively steady, and it's going to be humid because, again, we are dealing with some of that instability along the west coast. Clouds, then sun as we head into our Monday. Tuesday, we'll hit a high of 76 and then 75 by next Wednesday. Now, areas further inland will see that slight drop as we head into the beginning of the week. We're dropping from the mid to upper 70s on Sunday to the mid to lower 70s on Monday, and then we'll gradually start to warm again as we head into next week, but we'll start to see those clouds roll through areas inland again late Sunday into Monday as well. For the mountains, sunny and cool, temperatures staying in the 60s this week, but at least, hey, the sun shines out. And if we look at areas across the deserts, well, we're still trending a little bit below those historical averages in a few areas. And look at that, plenty of sunshine, but then look at where temperatures go by Wednesday. We're dropping down to the 80s in the deserts. For KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Bree Guy.
It's about to get easier to pay your fare when taking the bus or the trolley. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen says the MTS Board of Directors voted on Thursday to allow fare payment by credit card or virtual wallet.
It's been 2 years now since the Metropolitan Transit System launched its new fare payment system, Pronto. It included some big improvements, but when Connor Proctor tried to download and set up the Pronto app last year, it was not easy.
And it took me 191 taps to sign up for the Pronto app. I almost gave up halfway through, it was that painful.
He had to enter his name, credit card info, his address twice. But in other cities he'd traveled to, he could pay his transit fare with just the tap of a credit card. So he and some friends founded Ride SD, a nonprofit that advocates for better public transit. Their first campaign was to bring contactless open payment to MTS.
This will be great for people going to sporting events. If you hang out at Old Town Station before any sporting events, you'll see people struggling like crazy there. And after the events, big lines start forming, especially at Snapdragon Stadium. So it'll be great for people going to those sporting events who might use transit more in the future if they have a really good experience.
The upgrade to allow fare payment with credit or debit cards or virtual wallets like Apple Pay will cost MTS about $1.2 million. But board members say it'll save MTS money in the long run.
And I also do see these options potentially increasing ridership and also reducing fare evasion. I think just anecdotally, we've heard just in this room in the last 30 minutes how much frustration there could be around not being able to figure out the system.
The addition of open payments is expected to be complete by the end of March next year. The board of the North County Transit District is expected to join in the effort next month. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
Getting around by car is not cheap these days. SDSU's Mira Kopik tells us how gas prices are affecting the bigger picture on inflation. He's also talking about local home prices hitting a big number in the Friday Business Report.
The consumer price index rose 3.7%. Almost all of it was either related to oil prices or gas prices. What's going to happen over the next couple of months? Right now, the OPEC plus nations have continued their production cuts through the end of the year. So we're going to see a couple of very interesting things in the upcoming months. So we're going to see 1 month in October where we're going to have a big shortfall in the available barrels of oil in the market over a week or two stretch. But at the same time, in California, we're moving to the winter blend. So that's a less expensive gas. So that will offset some of the pricing pressure for Californians in particular. When we look at the overall inflation picture, it's generally good news from a consumer perspective, because everywhere else we saw prices either stabilize or continue to decline. And so one of the big things that the Federal Reserve looks at is the core inflation number, which removes the more volatile food and gas elements. And there, that dropped from 4.7 to 4.3%. So that should give us, some optimism that the Fed may not raise rates when they meet next week. The really good news for consumers, even though they always get a little bit, flustered around gas prices, is grocery prices. Grocery prices are on the decline. The food index is at its lowest level in 2 years. So overall, it was a good inflation report if you take out oil and gas prices. And I think there's some, economists and the Fed are breathing a little bit easier as they pull into the fourth quarter of the year. It's both good and bad news for homeowners. For those who own a home and have a low interest loan, it's great news because, they're building equity in their property. For people who are looking for homes, it's a very daunting number. Psychologically hitting $1 million for the median home price is a major issue. And this is what the Greater San Diego Association of Realtors just reported this week. You're looking at the average price per square foot at $710. And if you go back just before the pandemic, those prices were averaging between $380 and $400 per square foot. And to give you an example, let's say if you're looking at that $1 million home, if you currently have a 3.5% interest rate and you're looking to buy into it at 7%, the differential is $1,500 a month in interest costs. That's how much more that you'll pay if you're buying a home right now. But regardless, the number of days homes are staying on the market is actually fairly low. We're talking that for the homes that are on the market today, they're being sold within 30 days, which is very, very fast when you compare it to other parts of the country.
And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Have a great evening.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating and air, restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.